Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilborn. I want to welcome you to today's session of, let me get the slide up, of how to make money trading stocks and options, plus a trading tip for you today. So yeah, VIPS is one of those that's doing really good too. Very well, welcome also Steve Ferraro has joined us from, and I put you on mute for a second, Steve. I'll ask you to unmute and so you can say hi. We basically got into a situation where we basically are standing by waiting for things to set up, but really maybe a couple of stocks we'll take a look at, but had no real hard pick. And so I'll ask Steve a little bit later to give us a stock that he's going to keep watching. And so let's jump into today's session because I want to respect your time and ours. If you're joining us on YouTube, I want to say thank you. Welcome aboard. We will edit and get this back onto YouTube, the video, a little bit later today. And if you're joining us on YouTube and if you've never have not subscribed to us on YouTube, hit the subscribe and like button and hit the bell. You'll be notified when we post new training videos. And so just remember what we're doing with active trend trading is, it's about don't just survive, but thrive in any kind of market. If you are, I'm very pleased for the active trend trading folks. One, on last weekend, I said that I don't trust this market. If we get into anything, we're going to use half positions only, and we're going to keep our stops really tight. I was, and believe it or not, out of the 5 stocks that we looked at trading with the autopilot trading system, 3 of them almost did a round trip on us, but got us out in less than a 2.5% loss. And the one that we're still in, ZTO, is holding up very well. And the other one did not come down and trigger the trade. And so I'm very pleased. The writing was on the wall, if you will, and so we just basically stayed out of the way. One of the option trading groups that I'm on that I just kind of listen to on Facebook to see what is going on with this group. A lot of people were getting margin calls. We're getting just their faces ripped off. And I just wrote back to him and said, guys, why? Why are you getting your face ripped off? And, what don't you have rules that keep you out from doing that? So anyway, welcome to how to make money trading stocks and options for this Friday. It is the first Friday in March, and we're going to be covering the market indexes, master trading tip, and also stock pick of the week. And as I said earlier, we really don't have any stock picks for this week. There's some things to keep our eye on, but we want to let things set up for us going forward. So I'm going to basically just let you know that what we do is for training purposes. Traders should always pay per trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. I'm going to stick with last week's trading tip. And I realize that this is a repeat, but it's worth repeating given the market action that we've been watching over the last couple of days. Yeah, that's exactly, David is the right. They had it handed to them, and so some of those young traders, man, they just they're very, they're going for the home runs, and I'm trying to coach them up on growing wealth and all that kind of stuff and following rules. And they're kind of sitting like my sons when they were teenagers. We don't want to listen to you, old man. What do you know about? So, hey, don't trade the new lows unless you have a couple of things that go into place. One, new lower lows usually lead to new lower lows. We watched that this whole week. It was a really great week to basically trade the halfbacks, which I covered on the on Instagram and also on the radar. The 2 live sessions we did on Instagram at 1:00 p.m. Pacific, and then it's posted up to the YouTube channel. Let price action prove itself by retesting towards, does not have to get all the way down to, but retesting towards the lower low. Look for convergence and confluence of clues that the bottom is in. And that's normally done by looking for what? Positive divergences on the momentum indicators and also bounces off of moving averages, or for really bad sell-offs, it's waiting for a basically getting way extended away from the moving averages and waiting for a rebound back up into the moving averages. And so that's what we're looking for. And so, and if you need a tested and proven trading plan, get the active trading plan. If you want a copy of my trading rules and trading plan, you just got to email me and I will be glad. Hey, Mike Norton, and I'll be glad to send you my 1-page rules for the active trend trading system. You just have to email me and I'll send that on to you. If you don't know what my email is, there it is right there. So let's go ahead and jump into the index. As basically I kept saying the active trend trading system was just continuing to plug along. And we tend to do that. We tend to add some profits almost on a weekly basis. As the indexes that we started out the year, we're just going gangbusters. As you can see here, though, we have some red on the board. What? On the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has been getting, beat like a redheaded stepchild of late. It is, way down below the 50-day moving average. It may reverse and get ready to move back up, but it's a time not necessarily to just go in, guns blazing. It's a time to move in gradually and follow the trading tip that you just received. Dow's up a little bit, S&P's up a little bit. Earlier in the day, S&P was actually down from the highest from last year, and the Russell is also up nicely, more than the other two. One of the things concerns with the Russell is, of course, if interest rates and inflation pops up, the small caps do not like that, and they will tend to react negatively to the downside. So let's take a look at the day's charts. What do we have going on? And let me get, and again, I won't spend a lot of time on the S&P because I prefer trading both the NASDAQ and the Russell. But if you look to the, take your lows here and look to the left, just draw a straight line. What do you see? Well, we've got a couple of things going for us. We had a congestion area here. There was a pocket of buyers right there. That took us on that rally from here to here. So though some of those buyers are still left. As I was going to say earlier, I have a couple positives on the charts as of today. We have a really nice hammer or almost dragonfly doji. We have TSI starting to turn up from a reversal area where it found support previously. Negatives, moving averages. Okay, we may close above the 50, but look what's going on with the 820 has already crossed to the downside. The 34 is also pointing down. When the moving averages start to point down like this, they change their behavior also. They become, regardless of the way they're going, they are catchers of the price action. In this particular case, they are pointed down. So if they catch the price action moving up into that area, which way do you think it's going to probably react? It's probably going to react and treat that like a ceiling and bounce down from it. That's what I'm looking at. This week turns out, I'm not going to, let me blow this up a little bit. This week turns out to be it's almost an outside week. However, that's not much of a downtrend to reverse. And so I'm just going to basically, it is hanging very well above the 20-week moving average, which is approximately the 100-day moving average on the daily chart. Excellent. Buyers have stepped in. Buyers stepped in and around the same place yesterday. The volume is slightly above average. However, it's still less than the big sell-off that we had yesterday, the day before, and the day before that. It's been a weird week. The Qs. again, nicely. Okay, this is very positive. Now, I'm not going to say nibble a little bit here, although one could. If that hammer stays in effect for today, somebody could say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump on a couple of calls or, calls on this or sell a put spread on this. That would be fine. We have a hammer reversal signal off of support. Yep. Look to your left. That had broke out of that congestion area there and started moving up. Here's the point that I want to make that I wanted to show everybody is, we were talking about Fibonacci's earlier. I did a measurement from this high to this low, back up on the relief rally, and then it extends down. You were expecting a move of symmetry where this move down here would be approximately equal to this move down here. Well, it came pretty darn close to matching that. Our low on the Qs on today turned out to be what? 297.45. Well, look at that. 297 is a 100% extension. 297.14. Which is probably the noise that's just left up by the thickness of the lines, but that's pretty darn close, within 20, 30 cents. Some other positive things we have going on. We have a positive divergence on the daily chart. What's the weekly charts telling us though? The weekly charts are telling us that, well, two big volume weeks to the downside. TSI on a weekly chart pointed down. Market forecast, long-term momentum pointing down. Oftentimes, what do I trade? Do I take this trade here to the upside? And if I do, where's my target? If I take this trade, I want to basically, my first target is going to be the 820 moving averages drifting down, or that trend line right there. We don't know where it's going to hit that at, but it's kind of interesting that that's the way, that, again, a nice rebound. A more prudent way of approaching this is look and see if we have a retest, as we covered in the tech tip, back into the wick of the day. Now, the midsection of the wick, about 302, it may be interested there, because then our stop loss, if we went in at 302, would be right below that 100%. So we can keep our stops pretty close. And if you're trading TQQ, you'd probably do about 6-7%. I'd look at a half position on TQQ. IWM. Again, IWM holding up better than the other indexes in that it's above, it's maintaining above the 50-day moving average, came down and bumped its head. However, the price action effect is jackhammering the moving averages over and down. I can get rid of that because it's no longer valid. The 820 moving average has crossed over to the downside and again is pointing down. So the 820 and the 34, which is right about just a little bit above today's high, about the 218 level. That is a level of resistance. We could go through. Where could it might it go from there back up to this trend line? And so I'm not just, Steve, I'm just not jumping up and down going, hey, I want to get long and get long today. We have time to basically wait for our setups and also wait for proof that the momentum has shifted in our favor. Right now, the momentum is still favoring things to the downside. What are your thoughts, Steve?
I pretty much agree with you. Today's price action, feels like a reversal day to me. Yep. But I'm not ready to jump into the market yet. I think the market's got to show us that it's going to go higher. And until we get above the moving averages, I'm not comfortable with believing that the upside is we're ready for the upside. But I think if we're not there today, we're going to be there soon.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I will look to trade this one of two ways. One, if I come back and you know, because you look over here to the left, today's low tested almost down to this low here, but we knew there was a pocket of buyers over here. You know, who's the oh gosh, the guy, the Wyckoff, doesn't he talk about having a you know, there's a pool of buyers here just hanging out. They missed out on that run there, so they're greedily sitting there going, next time it gets down there, I'm going to buy. They're like, and yeah, they're like the sellers who they're like the people who were buying up here, and then the market fell out of bed. Well, they're still up there waiting to sell when price action moves on back up there. You know, hence the psychology of the whole thing going, and that's oftentimes why you get into another past level of either support or resistance. There's people waiting there to take action. And so that's why you have to love it. Like if you do take a trade, you know, down here or after you do the reversal, target to get out with some profit as you move back into a congestion zone. Because there's people there, you know, that are looking to sell the positions they have. So if you can sell on your way up, it leaves those guys, you know, I'm not trying to be mean or ugly, but it leaves them stranded up there. So
I think the other piece of the puzzle is that I don't see many individual stocks setting up today. They're very few. Certainly not in the IBD 50, except maybe VIPS.
Yeah.
It's in a good trend, but it's not setting up for a buy yet.
Yeah, with that said, how about, you know, Barry, that's a great question. Dennis, Barry asked the question, do you usually wait for an IBD follow-through day before getting back in, or do you sometimes ease in earlier than that? That's one of the things where I kind of diverge from Investor Business Daily is my technical analysis training was in classical technical analysis, which is slightly different than the IBD training with their follow-through days and that type of stuff. And so oftentimes they will, you know, line up with each other. But what I'm looking primarily is price action at a specific support level and or some candlesticks give me the reversal. But great question. Great question.
I agree with you, Dennis.
Thanks, Steve.
I watch it, but I don't, it doesn't rule my trade.
Yeah. And so Steve, you mentioned VIPS, right? Yeah,
well, it's in a nice trend. I'm with those in the IBD 50, but I don't see a buying opportunity right now. And I don't understand this.
That is ripping to the upside, man.
Man, on a pullback of any kind, I'd be very interested in a position here.
And so this is a Chinese company. So I know some of us don't trade Chinese companies, but still, it's hard to argue with that kind of
Hey, look at Viacom, VIAC. A friend of mine brought my attention to it yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. Wow.
You know, and you know, and you know, to let you guys know, of course, anytime I do in fact look at this, I know Viacom's a good company. I don't necessarily follow it succinctly. Right. So what I would want to do is I'd want to run over and do what they call and we'll just do that quickly, and then we'll be shutting down shop here. One thing I do love about Investor Business Daily, yes, I am a subscriber. No, I do not get any benefits or bonuses or any type of form of payback for suggesting or recommending it. Now, with that out of the way, I go to the research tab and I go to the stock checkup, and I will throw in. And I basically only want to trade stocks that pass there's Viacom, that pass the stock checkup. Let's see how it's doing. 89, a little bit weak, but not a little bit weak, but 90 is where they kind of give you a smiley face on the professor here. But it's number 4. Here's the other stocks that are headed, and I just run through the EPS. How's it doing on EPS? It's number 11. How's it doing on relative strength? It's number 1 in relative strength. Yeah, that's where it's looking at the technicals. And then SMR, it's number 5. Accumulation distribution, number 6. And then I really take a real quick look. How is the industry group itself doing? I want to kind of focus on industry groups that are in the, top half or top quarter of the industry groups. It's at 91, so it's about in just slightly over into the half position on that. And so anyway, I run over and I do that. We had one earlier, VIPS. I know VIPS has been on a lot of the, look at it. It's number 1, followed by Etsy, followed by JD. VIPS and JD are both Chinese companies. But as you can see, it also, here's one thing about it. This is a good place to check. That industry rating has actually slipped. So if you recognize that, that should be telling you that, there may be something, going on in the industry group, or we may be getting sector rotation. And the last stock, I'll leave you with 2 other stocks just to keep along with, and you're going to be shocked at this one. Now, this was Alphabet was holding up really well and is still holding up really well. I realize it's a $2,000 stock, but this really sets itself up for some good option trades. And if you're wondering about option trades, you can always become an active trend trader premium member, because we do option trades with that. But Steve, that looks pretty good also.
Yeah, I noticed that earlier this morning also. It's outstanding.
And then the other one that I'm keeping my eye on for a really nice, and it's just basically doing a little consolidation here, is ZTO. Yeah. And if you're a active trend trading member, we got into ZTO, sent out an alert on that to get in at 34.45-ish or so. It's holding at that level. And also we did actually just a naked or a directional call on this. We picked up the 19 March 35 call. Why? Because it has earnings coming up here on the 17th of March.
Yeah, good trade.
And we're expecting a rally into earnings. And so if it does that, volatility on the option will go up. Implied volatility on the option will go up, and I will take off my profits up here at $36.53. One other low casket company. Is HI a casket company? Very.
HI. I don't know.
No, that's Hibbett Sports. No, Hildenbrand. Hildenbrand's a casket company. They used to be a truck maker. Back in the day. So, okay, hey, Steve, that was a really good kind of overview. It kind of gives everybody a flavor of what we're waiting for. And so to respect everybody's time, we'll basically just close everything out. And
good note, Dennis. HI is they make medical equipment, hospital beds, things like that.
Okay. Yeah. And so, hey, if you haven't seen this video, please go take a look at it. It is basically about the Thinkorswim on-demand simulator for trading stocks. This is part 1. I'm going to also be doing a part 2, which is going to be about practicing trading options with the simulator. You can find it over on the YouTube channel, Market Tech Talk, and it's called Thinkorswim on-demand simulator. And then basically, hey, go over and take a look at the top 5 growth stocks and leverage ETFs that we do with our autopilot system. And if you don't know anything about it, there will be a link down in the YouTube description on how to find out more about this particular entity. And you're saving about 75% over what or you can go here activetrendtrading.com/autopilot/ and to find out more about it. So, hey, learn to focus on the process. The profits will follow. And part of the process is what? Making sure you're following your rules. And that way you're not like those option traders that are getting margin calls. There's no, unless something just really, really goes drastically wrong, a person shouldn't be taking a margin call. They should not. And again, that is my opinion. But if you want to trade, I think fastidiously, trade prudently, you don't take margin calls. So Steve, I want to say thank you very much, my friend.
You're very welcome, Dennis.
And the final hour will be getting up at the top of the hour. And so from our home to yours, aloha, trade well, prosper, keep sharpening your saw, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and watch this video that comes up here is about utilizing Fibonacci's, both Fibonacci time series and price series. So until next time, aloha, God bless everybody.